Approximately 6.5 million animals enter the U.S. animal shelter nationwide every year. 34% of dogs and 3% of cats are purchased from either professional or backyard breeders. According to the ASPCA's National Rehoming Survey, pet problems are the main reasons for rehoming pets, accounting for 47% of dogs and 42% of cats. I'm here to persuade you into adopting your next furry friend by talking about the intake, adoption, and rehoming facts of animal shelters. Now, when we think of the intake, we tend to think of it more as a local thing instead of a national thing. So, as stated earlier, the national average is about 6.5 million animals, which is a decrease from 2011's 7.2 million. But as of right now, there are 3.3 million dogs and 3.2 million cats in these shelters, with the biggest decline being dogs, which is 2011's 3.9 million to today's 3.3 million. With the number of animals being taken into shelters, it's only a fraction of those who will be adopted from the shelter. And when we think of adoption, we tend to think more positively, but we also have to remember that there's only so much room, to which brings me to euthanasia. Approximately 1.5 million animals are being euthanized due to overcrowding or old age. That's 670,000 dogs and 860,000 cats, which overall it's less than 2011's 2.6 million pets being euthanized. And that's mainly because there has been an increased percentage of animals being adopted, as well as an increased number of strays successfully being returned to their homes. And then we have the standard adoption process, which approximately 3.2 million of these sheltered animals are adopted each year. That's 1.6 million for dogs and 1.6 million for cats. Right now it's relatively even, but majority people tend to lean more towards dogs if they have a family or require a more social and affectionate animal, as people that are living alone and cannot be home all the time due to work tend to lean more towards cats because they're more self-serving and more of a loner kind of personality when it comes to the animals themselves. With the subject of adoption behind us, let's talk about the rehoming facts. Now, when it comes to rehoming, there are several reasons why animals are put in shelters. Some of those animals are surrendered, and that's either because they have behavioral issues, whether it be problematic or aggressiveness. Sometimes the owner just didn't know that it was going to grow as large as it was expecting. And then there's just health problems, whether it be hip dysplasia or heart disease. These things some owners just can't financially handle and have to turn over to the Humane Society or the nearest animal shelter. Out of these animals that are either surrendered or are strays, 710,000 animals are strays, to which the majority of those animals are in fact returned to their homes. Those being 620,000 dogs and 90,000 cats. And then being returned home, those animals are the APPA, which is the American Pet Products Association, has a graph of how people discover their pets. Is right here. As you can see, animal shelters and Humane Society, only 23% of dogs are being found through there, and 31% of cats. While breeders are, as stated earlier, 34% and then 3%. With these numbers, you can see that while the animal shelters are able to adopt out animals and get them new homes, a majority of those animals are either strayed that get found or that were already owned, or people find them through friends and family. So in conclusion, I hope with all the reasons and facts of the animal intake, adoption, and rehoming, that you'd be more willing to adopt your next furry friend. For all of us, pets are a small part of our lives, but for them, we're their entire lives. So adopt today.